What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and bringing another little nugget to add to the Soul Tribe archive. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the moon in Aries in the 7th house. Now, when you talk about the good old moon, the nature of the moon is to nurture. If you think about the sun as the light that's fueling the body, the moon is the light that takes care of the body. This is how you feel, and this is going to be how you again take care of those feelings and how you may even express those feelings, how they may come up for you. So, very important when you're working with your moon placement. You want to have a deep connection with that moon, especially too if you happen to have a night chart, because then the moon's going to be the leader of that night of that sect. So, little lunar child. And then you talk about Aries. They're ruled by Mars, which is the planet of action, drive, passion, desire. And Aries is the cardinal fire sign, masculine in nature. So there's just nothing but active energy when it comes to Aries. They are that I find being the cardinal sign, the initiator, they're that pure expression of will, that very prolific, creative expression of force, of will. And I think there's just something very invigorating and very inspiring, and something that's very kind of seize the day about the Aries. And that's like, no time like the present. And I'm just talking about Aries energy in general here. And then you talk about the 7th house. 7th house is a strong house. This is one of the angular houses. And this was known as, in ancient astrology, this was known as the setting house. And it was setting because that's where you have the ascendant in the 1st house, and then the descendant is in the 7th house. So hence the setting. And so some of the topics that the 7th house covers are going to be either like your marriage and your spouse. This is going to be relations with the spouse. This can be your all kind of contractual relationships. We're talking about business. This could be teacher, student, disciple, sensei, the therapist, patient, any sort of relationship like that. This can be about living abroad, possibly. And this could even be, too, the house of, like, enemies. And so that's another thing that you're in, like, opponents and things. So those are just going to be some things to think about. And when you combine all of these themes together, one, you'd have a Libra rising by whole sign, and you'd want to pay attention to where you have Cancer in the 10th house, because the moon is going to be responsible for that house. Those themes are going to flow into that 7th house area. So one even thing to think about is that you could get a lot of recognition maybe in your career from working with people. I think this would be very beneficial from either working with a life coach until you get to this place where you are working as maybe some sort of coach, or any sort of profession with your field where you are forming those partnerships, those kind of relationships, really being an initiator and a go-getter. And yeah, I think that could be something where you get a lot of recognition with that living abroad, for example. Maybe you get this recognition overseas. Maybe you do maybe you do like a teaching something overseas, and then happen to get promotions, and you end up living there. Who knows? Life's an adventure. And that's something too. I think that there could be potentially a lot of exciting relationships, maybe a lot of fire, if not Aries type energy, but maybe just fiery energy in general. Or there may be just sort of those Mars themes that are kind of coming around. There may be people with strong Mars placements. So I will say that, considering that this can be the house of enemies and opponents as well, because I think if that moon was under some harsh aspects, that maybe that could be troubles where either are kind of getting maybe into altercations, or maybe just making those like bad impressions. Possibly that could be something that could, again, I would think, if the moon is maybe under some kind of harsh aspects, and then it would be to learn how to nurture those things, to how to maybe take a step back and not be so, be more proactive rather than reactive, I would think, with that sort of combination there. But I think there could even be just a lot in forming those relationships with people who are very, again, that kind of channel that sort of Aries energy, those kind of like seizing the day types, the ones that get you feeling inspired, get you feeling motivated. I think those are really going to be the ones that you want to make sure that you're fostering some really strong relationships there. Like even with, you know, again, your tea, whatever that may look like, those can carry you through for life, you know. And I would think even in like your, if you happen to, because not to say you have to get married with this being the house of marriage, but if you find yourself in any sort of like in marriage or any sort of like, you know, spousal or any sort of like relationship along those lines, is how that energy is staying energized, or how that relationship is staying energized. I think doing exciting things together, maybe, you know, planning trips together, or, you know, things over abroad, maybe just do traveling a lot of the time. You know, that might be something, maybe doing like digital nomad life or something, like work from home life, whatever that might be looking like. But I think that would be something that would be very important. I think the moon in Aries could be a very passionate placement. And I think that there's something too where making sure to have that sort of romance there, that kind of like that's something that thrill stays there too. You don't have to do anything wild. I mean, you can get as wild as you want. But the point is that there is that there is that mutual growth that's happening in the relationships as well. I think that you want your people to inspire you, but also you want to be that inspiration as well. So those are just some kind of things to think about, I think, with this placement. And of course, you need the whole chart to get a better picture of this. So if this is something that, oh, even one more thing, this could be something where maybe even your partners or even can maybe help you with like a dream that you have, maybe get you connected to the people that you want, or maybe he's willing to support you in this move if you have to move to such and such, or maybe do like an overseas thing. There can maybe be that support in that. So that might be something to talk about with your spousal there. But yeah, if you have this placement or know someone who's working with this placement, down in the comment section, please, you know, leave some how you've been working with this. What are some things, see if there's any sort of similarities. What are some kind of tips and things that you would have to kind of working more constructively with this placement. And if you want to get more familiar with this, let's say if you want to get like you follow your lunar return, can be very beneficial just in itself. You get a lot of insight from that. And it's very easy to learn and to track it. But if that's something that you want to get more familiar with, down in the description box below is a link for all of the services that I provide. So feel free to check that out. And, you know, I said connect with the fiery type. I got all types of Leo in my chart. Nothing but fire. Well, I got a little water too. A little water, a little air, Cancer sun. So look at that. My sun's in your career placement. we can go places. But and also, okay, one other thing. If you want to see what's going on in the other with the other celestial bodies, you can check out my other channel, or check out this channel. Stay here, stay here, and go to the weekly transits tab and Celestial News Weekly, and that's where I have all of those weekly videos. And then if you want to work with the moon more intentionally too, I have a video, or my link for my other channels down there, where I talk about the moon in different signs and different phases. So I like when the moon's in Aries. I actually know a couple moon in Aries. But until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.